You know, there's a water line that runs from my house up towards the poultry and garden, and that runs underground right here. I'm thinking even later today I may try to find it and then dig a trench that'll come out to my root cellar. But while I'm waiting on that possibility, I have another issue that I've got to deal with. And it's been an issue that started as a plan years ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up, almost 2 years. I'm going to back up almost 2 years till when I got these free sources, and then we're going to show you what we're going to do with them and how it's going to work. Check this out. Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I'm Papa Pepper, and in a world where if you buy everything you ever think of, you're definitely going to be broke. I'd really like to take advantage of free sources. The cool thing is with some of the repairs I get to do in my line of work, you take the old material, you clean it up, and you got to get rid of it. And then you replace it with some new stuff. So pretty much all of the roofing tin, all of the, like R-panel that I've got on my animal buildings was free. Right now, I've got a whole pile back in there. I don't know if you can see it. There they are. Those are all 8-foot fence pickets. And I'm actually contemplating using them inside the house. So I'm gonna get them unloaded. I've got an unfortunate pile of free sources here. Okay, it does look like trash. The goal is to eventually build a lean-to off the side of here that probably comes out 16 feet. Make a number of shelving units. That one's gotta come down. It's not where it needs to be as far as structurally sound. But this is all stuff that I can't make on my own, so I at least obtained it when I was able to get my hands on it for free, and the goal being that I've got a lot of cool projects I can do with in the future. This one is going to be kind of more of a cosmetic thing, but it also does serve some purposes. Just try to make our inside of our house, it'll be more rustic looking and kind of more in line with the way we'd like things to be, as opposed to, like, you know, just sheetrock and paint and stuff like that. But there's a number of damage holes in the building, and a couple of those we inherited it with. So when we bought it, they already had some holes in the walls and stuff, and I just haven't fixed them. But if we run this over the top of them, right there, we won't need to. So unloading today, and then we'll go from there and see how long it takes me to have this one move up in the priority list. Well, there you have it. It's enough to do something with, and I do have some other ones available to me, and actually another pile on my land in a different spot. I just thought this was the easiest spot to unload it, because I had to come down here with the work trailer and a dually. So we'll see. On my to-do list, but I got a couple other things first. Root cellar and the wood stove are much higher priority than just some little cosmetic stuff. But once I do the root cellar, sorry, the wood stove, then I can tie this into that and move on from there. How was the work, son?
Good.
Good. You sweaty?
Yeah, a little bit.
I saw you carrying a bunch at once. That gets it done quicker, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for sure. That was some time ago. And right here is actually where we put all those. This was very different. I still got some stuff to clean up here, but it's not that heaping mound it once was. Okay, it does look like trash. That's built now, and that's been great for organization. I've been able to come out here and really store a lot of stuff a lot more effectively. And right now, all those pickets are kind of here and organized and available, so that makes it really easy for me. And the basic idea is going to be to grab these pickets, and if I just butted them up against each other, you know, one butted up against the other, they're not 100% perfect, so there would be a little gap between them if I did that. I don't want that gap between them to be visible where just you have a bunch of white cracks in between there. And I thought about painting the wall black behind there, but I don't want to paint the wall black either. So what I think I'm going to do is kind of have a little notch system, a tongue and groove type thing that I do with this, and then they kind of all interlock together. Let's see what that looks like. You know what that is? Or what it's for?
Oh, is this for our wall in the house?
It is. What's up, Pinky?
I know what that
Have you used this technology before?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
When we were redoing one of the houses that we stayed in.
So we stayed in a house once, and they had carpet in there, and it wasn't new carpet when we started, and by the time we were done, we said we better leave this place better than it was. So I taught the kids how to lay down some flooring, and this is actually gonna be for a wall. Now we still gotta decide colors, but I'm getting a bunch of it milled up here to be able to use.
Wow,
And I can't wait because it's gonna be so much better.
that's so cool.
Why are we having to redo our walls? Is it just for aesthetic and just cosmetic?
No,
No,
because they're falling apart.
because they're falling apart. Guys, we put some wear and tear and stuff in anyways, and mobile homes aren't exactly built to be just amazing. They're built to be cheap. And if a little piece of trim is barely held on, because that's how it's put together, and you got a kid picking at it, eventually the trim's gone, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens to the crack?
That gets picked at too.
That gets picked at too.
Even the baby can pull those.
Yeah. The baby can just grab onto something and pull, and next thing you know, there's a little board with little nails. So we gotta, take care of that. And I'm not a drywall guy anyway. I mean, I've done drywall as a living before, but I don't like drywall. I like something better than that. And if we cover our walls with these guys, which are old fence pickets, I got paid to take down these fences. In fact, look, there's some fence right there. Okay, that might go back up as a fence. But got paid to put up new ones, take down the old ones, and I thought, you know what? This could work. It'll make it look cool, sure, but this is a lot tougher on our wall, And it's gonna work good too for keeping our house cool in summer and warmer in the winter because it's gonna be added, you know, insulation too.
For our thin walls.
For our thin walls.
So maybe even ripped a piece of the counter off. You just like grabbed it and just.
I'm gonna have to redo a lot of stuff. Good guess, my lady.
All right. Well, it looks really nice.
Thank you. Do you remember using this technology?
In the flooring.
Yes, you did the flooring. Can you run into the shipping container and grab me a piece so we can see? When I started making this stuff, Monster Truck just rolls up and he's looking at it, and he looks at me and I go, you know what this is? And he goes, I think so. I said, really? And it wasn't too much longer, and he went into the shipping container. Yeah, and the Monster Truck pulled out one of these. Now these, he said, these are a little different, and they are, because they got the inner groove. They got tongue and groove. Here's the tongue, here's the groove. That's fine. This is just one single cut off of it. So they slide together like that, and as long as I've got my ends squared up, this one's not squared up, I can fix that. But then they'll join together real nicely, and I'll be able to make some solid walls. I'm just trying to figure out if I want like a golden wall with like tiger stripe from burning, or if I want to go just completely rustic. And there's a way to make new wood look like barn wood. There's an expensive way. You can go buy a can of like the gray stain, but there's a really cheap, easy way, which I might show you guys later. I think those are our two main ones. We just don't want it to be too dark, and I'm gonna have to do something. I can't just keep it all natural like it is. I've got to do something because it's from so many different fences.
For a while, we stayed here in this little guest house, and it had carpet in it before we left, so we decided to redo everything with this wood.
And this wood was cool because I actually got paid to take it out somewhere and put in some different stuff. So this flooring, I decided to have the kids learn how to put it together. And basically, what was it like, son?
Putting it together?
Yeah, pretty much like a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
You remember doing that, child?
Yes.
And it's basically the same technology we're going to be using on the wall, which is going to work really good. So they lock together from every side, and I like it. And you guys did a great job in here. It still looks amazing, don't it?
Yeah.
So we just kind of gave everything a new paint job, did all sorts of stuff, redid the floor, and tried to have it better because we were here. Because we put some wear and tear on it while we were here. You think you guys can help do it on the wall?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah? Inside the house here, if you're not familiar with trailer homes, mobile homes, they've got a lot of really thin little trim. Stuff like this that's held in place by a couple things, the kids can easily pick it off, and sometimes it does get picked off. As Mama Pepper said, sometimes even the babies do. Well, now this edge is exposed. The stuff inside's crumbling. It's not going to go well. If you look around the window here, you know, this is removed from here. You can see some spray foam, the thin stuff coming apart, and it even gets worse. If I look behind this chair, that got tore into right there. The little guy could come in here. You can see the family did a little bit of repairs there while I was gone. Not the way I would have done it, but I kept that thing on. But that just got tore up by a little guy. It doesn't take much. You don't need a child just completely insanely misbehaving to have it fall apart. A little pick in here, a little pick in there. Here's an example of, you know, I don't know. Something ran into there at some point. I think it was probably the back of one of the chairs. And when we got this house, there was already this hole and at least another one in the kids' room. When I added the wood stove and did the rock work for that, I pulled off some of this trim. But then little fingers come and pick at it. So this is some of the stuff. See, that's some of the stuff that I'm working on. I will say that just looking at these white walls of drywall, you know, not entirely my thing. I like a better look to it. When we went and put this in, boy, coming out of my room in the morning and seeing this glow and throwing heat in the winter, very nice. I like the look of this. So, even with some of our decor, you got like a a fox skin and some feathers and a crossbow and a 3-horn Jacob sheep, you know, that'll look nicer against a rustic background. And it's going to be a rustic background, but it is going to be tough as well. And I've got quite a bit of plan. Oh yeah, you can see that's, you know, even coming off. But I've got a plan for all the way around the window and the other stuff I'm going to work on. So I'm kind of excited about this. And as you could tell from that earlier video, it's been a thought for a while. It's just getting to the point now with holes like this already in some areas. Things, they're only going to get worse. They're not going to get better if I don't fix them. And winter coming up, I'd rather have the added insulation, the drop in the amount that we need to heat. And I think it's going to work out better. So it's go time now. So not too bad to have these like that. I'm still working on exactly what color I'm gonna want, but they interlock together well. And on some of these too, I have certain distances between like the wood stove and the window, or on some of our short walls or other things where I'm not gonna need to notch the ends. That'll save me half the time milling these, well, at least 2 of the ends milling these, because I'll only need the top and the bottom because they're going to come up flush against things. So I'm going to get a couple of those measurements and then continue making these before I run to town to get some stuff to continue sanding these. And I might pick up a little, like a brad nailer to actually install these. I had thought about doing them kind of more fence-like, vertical, but the problem then is that I wouldn't be able to hit the studs, which should be about every 16 inches. So if I do it this way, thump, 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 I can do it every 16 inches apart. A great way to repurpose these, and I mean, it's really turning into exactly what I thought we were gonna have. I had thought about using a router to get these ends right, but I don't have as much experience with the router, and while I think I could do the job, this table saw, just setting it up where I was cutting about halfway through the wood, seemed like the best way to do it. So that's what I decided with, that's what I'm going with. And so far I'm really pleased with the way it's looking. We'll have to see about the way it works when I get to that point. But I'm just using a square up the ends, using my circular saw to cut them straight, cut them square, and then using this to pretty much mill them where they're going to be interlocking and able to be used. So far, so good. So, ran to town to pick up some things for this project. Number one, I want to sand those old boards, and we ground this off too hard. There's supposed to be like a Velcro thing on here, and me and some of the children had been using it, that my rigid 5-inch sander, the things don't stick to it anymore. Now I figured there must be a replacement, and when I went, I didn't find any rigid replacements. Some of the other companies had stuff, but they did not have this 4-screw 8-hole pattern. One of them did though. That was Ryobi. Now the Ryobi has the same exact screw hole and dust hole pattern. It even says at the bottom it fits rigid, which is awesome. I don't always like going and picking up a new tool to do a project, but if I do, then it gives me that tool for the rest of my projects in my life. I do not have a brad nailer, and since they have one of these, okay, I don't have an air compressor, but just the tool with no batteries, but I got plenty of batteries. I thought this is exactly what I need. Here's a prime example. See, here's some of this nice little trim. See how it's coming off? Now, some of the kids will hit that with a nail, or mom might figure out something or things, but this, thump thump, that's all I need to actually do that. I'm gonna test this out quick. But I got some 2-inch ones. I'd use much smaller ones on that. I'll probably stick one in there just to hold it for now. I've got a plan on redoing that whole thing. And then my first buck skull up there, and our first cow, it's the first cow I ever shot. her skull up there. Just kind of tying some things together, making it look more rustic. And I actually picked up steel wool as well. Steel wool and vinegar. Anyone know where I'm going with this? Well, let me know in the comment section if you do. I might have to show you in the next video. I'm gonna see if I can nail this up. And then something else happened that I had a suspicion might. And I'm kind of excited about that. So I will close with that after I check this. Oh yeah, I like that. That's how it's supposed to go. Come here. Keep going. Now, you, no more pulling that off. You keep that on. You say on, on. Touch it, on. Don't pull it off. That should solve that. Probably overkill for this thin of a thing, but it's gonna work great for those fence pickets, and I'm really excited to see this go. Plus, this is gonna come in incredibly handy in the future for all sorts of things. I'm excited.